What's going on there, folks? Good Monday afternoon. It is the Earthmaster here. May 16th, 2022 is the date, about 12:08 p.m. California time here, just after lunchtime. Latest quake shows a 6.1 earthquake into the area of the Java Trench. You can see that region right there, showing that pretty large earthquake just coming into the Earthquake 3D globe. Looking at the seismograph stations, I'm not seeing any indication of this earthquake yet, although I don't have any specific seismographs monitoring the Java Trench area. So we will wait for this and watch and see how this comes in. It is in an area that we have been kind of watching for a while. 6-pointer is very minimal in terms of what the Java Trench can produce out there, and the EMSC not show, or the USGS not showing anything yet. Same for the there we go. The EMSC just popped up with that 6.1, and it looks like that. Let me check the depth here. About 40 kilometers into the Java Trench area, and I remember this area can definitely see some major quakes. USGS still not showing that, so we'll wait and see what they report here as they review their earthquake data. Looking at the rest of the map here, we did see some further uptick in activity in the southern part of California last night. A little swarm of activity just off the San Andreas fault zone here to the east. This here is the southern segment. This is a little area just about less than 10 miles or so right off the southern segment of the San Andreas Fault here in the mountainous area. Outside of Desert Hot Springs, we've seen a pretty good swarm, including a 3.8 earthquake, which came in last night. And since then, we've seen quite a few aftershocks there in the 2 to 1 range and smaller. So that's been kind of a little hot spot overnight. Although within the last hour, things look like they're calming down here. I don't see anything really in the red circles right now. Along the San Jacinto fault zone, getting an increase in clusters as well, up and down the area. Look at this little swarm here around Baldy Mountain. Quite a few little microquakes out there in that mountain range. Just overall showing a seismically increase in movement out there. Nothing yet. Still on the Java Trench earthquake. Sometimes it takes them a little while. Not for sure why, but it is what it is, right? Let's see what else we got. Along the rest of the San Andreas fault zone, a little bit of microquake activity up and down the board. Most of the activity over the last 24 hours has been confined here south of about the Fresno area into the SoCal region. Eastern part of the Sierra Nevada, look at that. Absolutely stunningly quiet. Not a whole lot going on out there through the Antelope Valley, Long Valley Supervolcano, or anywhere for that matter in the Sierras. Cobb Mountain area, Calpine and the hydrothermal fields out there creating quite the cluster of earthquakes today. About 35 of them, all below the 2.5 threshold. So just a bunch of microquakes being created out there in the that Clear Lake volcanic field. Up into the Washington region, got low activity outside of Mount Rainier. Nothing showing up here. Mount St. Helens again on the USGS map. Still nothing coming in there. Man, goodness, these guys are just a little slow, aren't they? Let's see, what do we got for Idaho and Yellowstone? A little swarm of activity here around the Hebgen Lake area. Of course, this area did see some pretty large earthquake. Seen a pretty large earthquake back in the. I can't remember exactly when that was. Let me see what we got here. It's been a little while. But Yellowstone does get some sizable quakes and swarms, and not all of it has to do with, magma movement and whatnot underneath the ground. But a little swarm of activity we're kind of watching there. Let's see, I want to back out of here real quick again, see if these guys are reported. Nope. Goodness. So while we're waiting over here on the Java Trench quake, we're going to look at the rest of the activity that's been kind of popping up here around the Indonesia region and Papua New Guinea. We've seen a little bit of deep earthquake activity here over the last 24 hours, and also specifically over the last week or so along this area. of the Pacific Plate and along the southern end of the Philippine Plate. The Java Trench, though, if you look at this 7 days, hasn't seen anything above 4.5 and above. We can go back to the last 30 days, 4.5 and above, and it's been kind of skimpy. In this area. As far as any large-scale movement, it's all been in the mid-4 range, and that's kind of, like I say, a little skimpy on earthquake activity. So no doubt, surprised if this is the 6.1 coming into the Java Trench today. Like I say, it could be one quake, or it could be a couple quakes in this area. They do have quite the slip rate here in this region. It is a major subduction zone, the Java Trench, that is. And let's see if these guys have done anything, any upgrading, downgrading. Looks like they've downgraded it to a 5.8. That is from the EMSC model. And we'll wait for the USGS once again to issue whatever they're going to issue here in the Java Trench region. Let's see, around the Western Pacific here, we did see a little activity last night prior to the Southern California earthquake there around the San Andreas Fault Zone I was just showing you. Seen a 5.4 up here in our little watch area, the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, a 5.4 at 95 kilometers into the subduction zone there, adding some further strain upstream, and some activity along the Aleutian Trench, including a 4.0 there in the area. Microquake activity shows general movement consisting mostly around the Anchorage and the Denali area up north in the beautiful state of Alaska. The Fiji Islands area, look at this, New Zealand, Kermadec Trench, all super duper quiet. South Pacific as well. Chile region did see a little activity up on the Peru-Chile Trench subduction zone region, the interface here. A couple fours kicking off there in that region. And some activity kicking off the Honduras area, Middle America Trench, Nicaragua area. A couple fours kicking off this morning in that area. And Puerto Rico Trench, I believe the majority of this here along the trench area was from last night. A couple threes out there around the British Virgin Islands area, and typical swarming down here around the southwestern area of the Puerto Rico area, region. Okay, new Madrid zone. Let's go ahead and check this out here. We got a little bit of swarming going on out there. A couple ones and some small twos kicking off. So just a little bit of activity in that region of the new Madrid zone. Kind of want to see if we can pick any of that data up here. I'm gonna have to go back on that and look and see exactly which stations here I want to check out. Here's another one. Stand by for just a second here, folks, while I check something out. Kick that back over here. Need to pull up something on my end, and see if I can't find the activity I'm looking for. All right, here we go. I got it. Yeah, see that earthquake right there? That's a pretty good signature on the Japan station. I think that's a little bit bigger than the 5.8 that the EMSC is showing. So we'll see how it plays out. But this here is the new Madrid zone area, and I kind of want to zoom in here to the area where some of these earthquakes are kind of kicking up. What do I do with it? There we go. Looks like up here around this area where some of those earthquakes are kicking off. Let's see if we can see anything on the recorded data. Losing my voice again. Yeah, I must not be looking at the right ones here because I'm not seeing anything specific. Let me bring up the earthquake map once again and get a specific zoom area of where this activity is occurring. Looks like right around the state line there of the Missouri area, Tennessee region. It's kind of odd. I'm really not seeing anything specifically in that in that area. Let me check one more time here. Well, either they got these things tuned down or who knows what. But either way, the USGS definitely showing some activity here. Pretty deep as well. These are all microquakes, the largest at 2.0 in the Templeton area. Templeville, Tennessee area. All right, Oklahoma, some movement outside there of OKC region up towards the Enid area. And a little activity into the western part of Texas. I do want to check out some activity. Let me check, see if these guys got it. Yeah, there it is, 5.8. So it looks like the USGS is stating this as a 5.8 as well. 15 kilometers deep into the Java Trench area. Not a deep one, but it is up there in that level where we watch for the big quakes, around the 10 to 15 kilometer range here. So it just keep an eye on this area. Could be a foreshock. We'll have to see how this plays out. A lot of times that does happen. We'll see some 5s kick up, even a 6, and then bam, you get a big, large mega quake in that region. Let's go back over here to the Yellowstone map. I want to check out, see if we got any more activity kicking up here into the area, which it looks like we do here. Now, there's a couple earthquakes here showing up on the eastern side of the park that I still can't figure out where they're coming from. I mean, it kind of looks like they're over here, but they're not showing up on the USGS map. There was some from last night. I believe this one here, this signature is from the, let's see, hold on a second here. Really didn't have any large earthquakes last night. So I find it kind of odd that it's picking that one up. Hold on a second here. Let me look here. There's a couple 2s in Idaho. A couple small microquakes as well. Yeah, we didn't have any significant earthquakes last night here in the area or around the globe. So I find it very strange that there's a signature of a somewhat of a larger quake here around the Yellowstone region. It was picked up pretty much all over the place, it looks like. The signature that I'm talking about is going to be this one right here, which is showing up all over the park. Looks to be centered possibly further south here. It looks like the strongest signature looks like here. But man, I'm going to have to look into that. That's just kind of a new one there. A signature of a quake and nothing reporting by any of the folks out there. But then again, it's kind of been that format for a little while. There was an earthquake here yesterday. Kind of showed up more prominent and significant here on the eastern section of the Yellowstone area. And then a couple here within the last hour or two. Got 2 signatures here of some earthquake activity. And looks as though that movement as well, the reason why I can tell it's not interference locally is because it's showing up on distant stations here across the park. Not as prominent here, but we still have that signature of something happening, whether it's plate tectonic related or who knows what. Fault system, it's hard to say. Also showed up here on the promontory. Those don't look like distinct earthquakes. They look kind of a little on the odd side. We've been seeing this kind of ramp up here in the area where that 4.2 kicked up here a few days ago now. So it's something to watch, something to monitor. I know there's a couple layouts here showing the magma chamber underneath, that it does extend towards the northeastern caldera region and in this general direction where this 4.2 struck. But I'm waiting on the USGS. I'm going to send them another email this morning. Maybe my email got covered up under some spam over the weekend, but I'm going to ask them about this, inquire about what's going on. or what they think is going on, because they're not reporting it. So I'm curious to see what these guys are going to say. Either way, a couple small microquakes over here along the Hebgen Lake area. Of course, we've seen that showing up on the USGS map. Going to be some of the earthquake activity here in the red spikes. Not for sure what's going on with these lines here. A lot of times those are error in the ground, or not in the ground, but in the graph. And yeah, looks like it's a little active out in Yellowstone today. A little bit of movement here around the Little West Thumb area as well. All right, let's back out of here. We'll keep watching it and monitoring it, but I'd still like to know where that signature is. That little bit larger quake. Just so weird. I mean, it's like nothing's being hardly anything's being reported up here. There's a quarry blast up outside of Butte, Montana. 1.6 coming in right now. But all right, let's move on past that, and I will look into that and report a little bit later on this evening, a little bit more detail. So aside from the 5.8, that's the latest somewhat larger quake out here. Throughout the rest of the map, it looks pretty quiet throughout the Mediterranean, Middle East area, Europe, Asia, Africa, Atlantic Ocean, Greenland, Iceland, all quiet right now. Tremor map from yesterday does show a pretty good amount of tremor, 410 epicenters of tremor along the Cascadia subduction zone, roughly from about the north down to the south end of it. Check out Mount St. Helens activity here. Let's see what is reporting. It's so weird, man, what's going on with my kind of a weird dry feeling in my throat. I don't know what's going on. It's weird. So here's a little bit of earthquake activity. You can see the microquakes popping up here on the map. There's that signature once again. And we've seen that last night. I'm waiting to see if it does it again. Here in a few hours. It seems to do it around the 0100 UTC time. So I'm not for sure if that's interference or not. So if it does again around 0100, we can pretty much count that out as some type of outside interference and not something going on here at the volcano itself, Mount St. Helens that is. So we'll check back a little bit later. But yeah, over the last, this morning, overnight, and this afternoon time frame, definitely a couple small microquakes kicking up again at Mount St. Helens. And again, nothing being reported throughout the area of the Mount St. Helens region. Space weather, let's go ahead and recap that real quick and see what we got going on. We did have an M flare kick up, pretty strong one. Looks like it did produce a possible CME. That's going to be the chart right there of that M flare. Definitely crackling pretty good on the sun. Looks like this was a M2.4 kicking up there. I'm not for sure which sunspot this popped up off. Looks like solar activity is again at moderate levels, and M2.4 was just detected around new active region towards the northeast limb. So it's that large area that we've been kind of keeping an eye on as it rotates in the view. Look how, man, that thing is bigger than the one that we seen a couple weeks ago here. This whole area is just one huge looking sunspot. I know they all got their each individual fields and whatnot, but it's looking massive. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that area as it rotates into view. And of course, getting close to being Earth directed here in the coming days. Looks like a 10% chance of X flare. M flare around 35% chance, 99% chance for a C flare. We'll see how that plays out. But for now, I'm going to call it, folks, and we will be back a little bit later. Pending anything doesn't happen. Looks like they downgraded it now to 5.7. All over the place. This originally, that earthquake there in the Java Trench originally came in as a 6.1 from the EMSC model. That's quite the downgrade. But all right, guys, just stay safe and be prepared. It seems like as the days go on, they're getting more and more suspicious, I guess is the word. Kind of crazy. What do we got going on there with the globe? Was it like that all night? I guess it was, huh? There we go. I think we got that working right. All right, guys. I'm going to see if I can't find me some, I don't know, maybe some honey will help out my throat. It's kind of feeling weird. Kind of messing with my voice box a little bit. We'll chat you guys a little bit later tonight. Have a good one. Stay safe.